The Knicks postgame show is presented by Tri-State Audi. Visit your Tri-State area Audi dealer today. The Knicks keep on rolling tonight against Denver. They're able to prevail when it mattered most. OG Anunoby had a career 40 in the last meeting against Denver. Tonight he had 23. Josh Hart, the great hustle. Jalen Brunson, 30 and 15. Gets the roll there. And the Knicks beat Denver tonight. The final score, 122-112. The Knicks have now won 5 games in a row. Great to have you with us, Bill Pito, along with Wally Szczerbiak. So you think this is the most significant win here in this winning streak of 5 in a row. How come?
I wouldn't say that. I just think this is another statement win. Memphis, they didn't play well. They had won 6 in a row. They came in here. They were throwing the ball all over the map. Granted, the Knicks played great defense and forced a ton of turnovers, which led to a blowout win. But today, the Nuggets showed up and they wanted to win this game. They remember getting blown out on their home floor earlier on in the season against the Knicks. Knicks are now 2-0 against the Nuggets. Not going to see them again until possibly the NBA Finals. Jamal Murray came in here ready to play. Jokic got in foul trouble, but as a team, they thought they had this game midway through the third quarter, and that's when Jalen Brunson said, "Not in my house. I'm the captain." Took over that game, pick and roll, sliced and diced the Nuggets up, and helped this team come away with another massive victory.
Brunson, 18 of his 30 in the third quarter. Jokic, who averages a triple-double tonight, only 17 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. Picked up his second foul like 2 minutes into the game, hardly played in the first half, and never really seemed to get into things tonight. Really an off night for him, and that helped the Knicks. But Jokic was out there in the fourth quarter, and he actually got better as the game went along, but the Knicks prevailed in the final 12 minutes.
I thought he took a couple rush shots. I thought that was the biggest shot of the game. Because the right coming out of the fourth quarter, the Nuggets cut it to 2. Deuce McBride went on a 5-0 run to get that lead back to 7. And how about the shot making by OG Anunoby? Loves playing against the Nuggets. 23 points on 9 for 15, high percentage. Mikal Bridges can't leave him open. He did struggle shooting the ball a little bit in the first half, but in the second half he made 2 huge corner threes. Karl Anthony Towns, I love the game he played. He is struggling with that thumb, but he is bringing it to help his team win. He does everything, and this defensive play was just outstanding. What a block. Leads to Jalen Brunson finding Bridges in transition. The great thing that the Knicks are doing, when they get stops, they're not allowing the defense to rest. They push the ball right back down your throat. Josh Hart running in transition, getting those signature layups in transition. A big-time win for the New York Knicks against a legitimate title contender in the Nuggets.
Interesting. The Knicks outboarded by 12. That ties for the most amount of boards they've been outboarded in a single game, and yet they win anyway. There's 6 turnovers for the Knicks, second fewest in a game. So that helped mitigate.
That balances the rebounding.
And the points off turnovers, again, critical. Look at that. Knicks 23 points off of 14 Denver turnovers, so they made the most out of that. Denver only had 3 points off of turnovers. All right, Alan. Alan Hahn helped call the game tonight on the broadcast crew with Mike Breen and Clyde Frazier. Alan, what's your takeaway tonight? I know you love the fact that the Knicks were able to capitalize so much off of Denver's turnovers.
Yeah, that was a stat to watch, obviously, because Denver does, have that issue when it comes to fast break. They give up a ton of fast breaks, so when you get them turned over, you got to get down the floor. And the Knicks did that, and they continue to do that. But I love what Wally said at the very beginning, because that's exactly how I felt when I was watching that third quarter. As Jamal Murray got hot and he started making shots, and again, we've seen big time players come in this building, they start talking to the crowd, they get a little bounce to them, and Jalen Brunson's like, I don't think so, this is my house. And he had a close to that quarter that regained the lead, and the Knicks retook control of this game. He had 7 points and an assist in what I believe was like a 12-3 run to close out that quarter, and it felt like that was it for Denver. And we have seen so many times in the past, guys, where a star player or a high-level player will come in here, they get hot, they get bouncy, and they kind of take the game over. The crowd gets frustrated, and the Knicks end up losing the game. Jalen Brunson did not let that happen tonight. He made sure that he let everybody know whose court this is.
And Alan, what about the job that Towns, Precious, OG, you name it, did on Nikola Jokic to keep him in check tonight?
I mean, his numbers show you at the end that he started to try to make shots and do what it took to help his team win this game. But those 2 early fouls took him out, and then Michael Malone left him on the bench waiting for his rotation back in the second quarter with the starters rather than play him right away at the start of the second quarter. And it looked like it took him a long time to get himself loose and get into rhythm. While you could probably speak on when you're not used to spending a lot of time on the bench and then you do after your pregame warm-up, it takes a while. And it just seemed like he never really got into this game as great as he is. And then when he did try to get going, I thought Achua did a great job. Obviously, Towns loves that matchup. There were a couple of plays he made where he was giving him a look. But it was a collective, of course, with that team. And that's what Andy Greer, the assistant coach, told me at halftime. It would take a collective effort to make sure he didn't take over the game, and it worked.
Alan, you're talking about Murray. Started off that third quarter with 10 points and then got his 4th foul. So it was Jokic's foul trouble in the first half, Murray's foul trouble in the second half to really help the Knicks. But I want to ask you about the Knicks bench. Second straight game of a massive contribution. And Wally mentioned in the highlight, early fourth quarter, Precious Achua, Campaign, Deuce McBride on the court during a critical sequence when the Knicks really benefited from their contributions.
And we were talking about it just amongst ourselves when the fourth quarter started, because you knew you had to steal some minutes. Brunson gave you such a big third quarter, and he closed out that quarter strong. You had to let him get a breath and just get his energy back, and you knew around the 6-minute mark, that's when you would bring him back in to close the deal. So you had to get some minutes out of Cameron Payne. You had to get some minutes out of Deuce McBride, and they played dead even. And that's really all you could ask for. You had a 7-point lead. Don't leave the court without at least that 7-point lead. That's what they did. That's what makes the bench minutes so important, and why at this time of year you got to get something out of your bench so your starters just have enough left in the tank to make sure you win the game.
All righty, Alan, as always, we appreciate it. We will see you for our next broadcast when the Knicks host Houston on Monday night. So you get the help from the bench. And Jalen Brunson tonight, we've talked about his night, 36 minutes. Didn't have to play a zillion minutes because he's getting the support. Tom Thibodeau's getting the support off the bench. Brunson made the most of those minutes. 15 assists. His career high is 17. Had that at Denver in late November. So he got 15 assists in this one and 30 points and 18 in the third quarter.
What I loved about this game and calling it on radio was the strategy between 2 outstanding coaches. The Knicks and Jalen Brunson and Tom Thibodeau, they knew they had an advantage when they put Nikola Jokic in pick and roll. And Jalen Brunson was getting into the paint all night long. He was getting whatever he wanted. He was making plays for his teammates. A couple of these drop-off passes to Precious Achua, to Josh Hart, just incredible, beautiful dimes to his teammates. He was in aggressive mode. He knew that when he got that screen, that they were not going to be able to contain him and keep him out of the paint. And when he gets in the paint, good things happen. How about that all-star role? That's how all-stars get the bounces at their home court. MSG, what a performance by the captain. Put his team on his back for a big-time win.
Rarefied company there, that is for sure. Brunson last year, Wally, 9 games for the whole year with at least 10 assists. Tonight is his 10th game this year in double-digit assists with 15. So we've talked about how he is doing whatever the Knicks need. And one of the things that's changed with the acquisition of Karl-Anthony Towns is Brunson's became more of a distributor.
Well, also, he doesn't see as many double teams because you can't double team with Bridges out there, Anunoby shooting lights out, Towns being able to shoot the ball, and Josh Hart slashing all over the place. So you got to pick your poison if you're a team opposing teams against the Knicks. And right now, Jalen Brunson knows that. He's a smart player. He knows when to attack, and he saw a distinct advantage in the pick and roll, and he went after the Denver Nuggets in the pick and roll in that third quarter. He would not let them off the hook. He was going to take over that game, put his imprint on that game, and that's why the Knicks came away with this victory.
Knicks as a team, Wally, tonight, 33 assists. This year, they're now 19-1. 19-1 when they record at least 30 assists. Last year, for the whole season, they only had 10 games in which they recorded 30 assists.